Hi, what's up? I did my makeup just for this video. Good morning guys and welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back! Today is almost the end of October. It's the 26th, I don't know. It's the 26th maybe, and it's almost the end. So I thought I would talk about kind of like a creepy movie that I watched that just came out a few months ago. I say that a lot, like this just came out and then it came out a few months ago, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to talk about a movie that just came out a few months ago, and I'm going to be comparing it to the original. So we're going to talk about Death Note. Maybe I could get the sound. Maybe not though. So if you want to hear my review of the Netflix original Death Note, then just keep watching. So I watched the movie without any previous knowledge of Death Note. I had heard of it before and I kind of knew the concept, but I hadn't actually read any of the books or watched the series, which is on Netflix by the way. And I really enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it a lot actually. I was laughing and it was entertaining and I enjoyed the whole concept. And my roommate Rachel, as you have met before, she is a big Death Note fan. Maybe not big. She's a Death Note fan. So she had read most of the books, if not all the books, I don't actually know. And she had watched the series. And when she watched the movie, she told me that she thinks that it was trying to be a serious movie and that it wasn't supposed to be funny. And I was like, oh, and I was laughing almost the whole time and it was just so comical. So she suggested that I watch the series and do a review for you. So that's exactly what I did. It took me freaking forever to finish the series just because I'm so busy all the time. But you don't want to hear my excuses. I just finished the series this past Friday, so here I am today giving you the review. The upload before Halloween. That's not true because I'm uploading Monday, which is also before Halloween, but you know what I mean. I watched the series and it was, girl, it was so good. I enjoyed it so much better than the movie, honestly. I have a few notes. If you haven't seen any of this, please click away, by the way. The movie, I will say, kind of whitewashed the whole situation, which I thought was unnecessary. Like, the show was set in Japan, as were the books, but they moved the movie to Seattle, Washington for some reason, and made the main character white, but still gave him the Japanese name that he had, which is very strange. Like, why did that need to be done? So first of all, there's that. There were some elements that stayed the same when it comes to like ethnicity and race and all that stuff, but mostly it was just really whitewashed. So I understand that there's some issues that people have with that, and I kind of have an issue with it too because it wasn't needed. It didn't need to be whitewashed, and not that things need to be whitewashed. You get it, sorry. So the whole movie was just like American, even though it wasn't an American thing. If you don't know, the whole concept of Death Note is a Shinigami, which is a god of death, drops a death note into the human world and a human picks it up. The Death Note is like a notebook that you can write names in and that person will die. So it's literally you write their name and they'll die. So a Shinigami is like a Japanese god, but they moved it to America again, like I said. So the Shinigami's name is Ryuk. He's super cool. I enjoy him. And then the main character's name is Light, and then there's also another character named Misa, who they changed her name to Mia in the movie to make it American, even though his name stayed Light. I wish I could tell you, man. I actually haven't watched the movie in a while, but I will talk about this series mostly right now, I guess, and I'll talk about the differences that I remember. So the show, Light was super smart. Like, super smart. He thought of like everything ever. If it was a problem that could have happened, he's already one step ahead of you and he's taken care of it. He's literally the epitome of deductive reasoning. He's a smart man. Smart. Very smart. Over the course of the show, he's in high school, he finds a death note, and he immediately wants to make the world a better place by killing all the criminals and all the people that the police haven't taken care of. As the show goes on, he kind of gets a little crazy, honestly, but he's still super smart, so he gets away with it for a really long time, like almost like 6 or 7 years over the course of 37 episodes. I'm gonna spoil it. And then he finally gets caught, and then the Shinigami kills him. Which I know I giggled, but I was sad. But also like kind of like, you deserved it. Besides the point. So he was so smart. Light's killing becomes noticeable and he decides to make himself the god of the new world. So he names himself Kira. I can't say it in the accent. And that's the name that is given to the murderer of all the people, you know. Light's dad is a cop, and he is in charge of the Kira case, trying to catch Kira and bring him to justice. But Light is so smart that he even evades his dad. He gets access to police files so that the police think that it's somebody within them and all kinds of things, and it's literally amazing. Now, in the movie, on the other hand, Light is he still has the same motivation, but he really isn't that smart. He's a typical American teenager who just he doesn't really have a reason for killing people. The first person he kills is one guy at school, which, I don't know, but so to prove that it worked, he killed a guy at school, and then he killed the guy who killed his mother, which I don't remember that happening in the series, but maybe I'm wrong. But Light isn't nearly as smart in the movie as he is in the series. He's actually kind of stupid. When Mia comes along, she's the one who, when she finds out about the Death Note, becomes all crazy and wants to kill people to bring justice to the world or whatever. And they work together to make the whole thing happen. Now, in the series, Misa's really dumb. Like, so dumb. Excruciatingly dumb. And what happened with Misa is that she got another death note from a different Shinigami named Rem. So when Misa finds the second death note, she starts copying Kira to get his attention so that she can meet him, because she like idolizes him, because I think Kira killed Misa's parents' murderer. So that's the whole purpose of Misa, and she's called the second Kira. When Misa and Light finally meet, they become this team where Misa does literally whatever Light says and does not go against him at all. In the movie, the whole thing goes around Misa trying to take over Light's position and be Kira and get the notebook away from him. There wasn't even 2 death notes in the movie. They just simplified it so much. So Mia was trying to take over Light and be Kira and like kill people, and she was being crazy. But in the series, like, that's not what happens at all. So that was annoying. Also, in the movie, they made up a lot more rules for the Death Note than there needed to be, because the rules were really simple in the series and they were enough. But in the movie, the rules were so very complicated. There were like hundreds of them, when in the series there were only like 3, and then there were a couple of other things that were just facts that weren't even like rules. They made that aspect more complicated, but the whole plot line more simple, and it was just, none of that needed to be done. It could have stayed the same and just, I don't know, I'm not having it. Another big part of the 2 that were very different is that L in the series and in the movie were very different. So in the movie we got a little bit of background towards the end, if I'm remembering correctly, but in the series we get a lot of background, especially after L dies. L dies and is succeeded by another character named N, or Nier, and that's a whole different thing, and Nier is the one who ends up catching Light. So that's what happens. They just dumbed it down so much from the original story, and I really enjoyed the original story. It's only 37 episodes, 1 season. Honestly, you could probably get it done way faster than I did. It took me a month to do it, and that's because I just never watched it because I was really busy. So I highly suggest the series, and if you want to watch the movie to see it after watching this video, I mean, I guess, but like, the series is better, honestly. So in the series, we got to see more into the Shinigami world, where there were a bunch of Shinigami and got to learn a lot about that. But in the movie, we only ever got to see Ryuk, and Ryuk was made out to be more of a instigator, like he was trying to get people to, like, trying to get Light and Mia to, like, hurt people and, like, hurt each other, and he was just, like, instigating all these fights and stuff, where in the show, the series, Ryuk was really just like looking for entertainment. He was bored, so he's like down there and he's like, humans are so interesting. They made Ryuk to be different. They didn't show any other Shinigami in the movie as far as I can remember, and it just, overall, it just did not match up at all, and I don't think it was very well done for what it was meant to be. So the next thing I want to talk about the movie is the cinematography and the shots and like the way that it was done, because like I said, I was laughing the whole time because I thought it was meant to be like overdone to a point where it was funny. And afterwards, me and Rachel were talking, and we don't think anymore that it was done that way on purpose. We think it was meant to be like a serious movie, actually scary, but the way that the things happened were not. But in the series, it like wasn't scary. I mean, it was a little scary, but it wasn't overly funny. At least the ending got funny, but I think the writers changed because like a bunch of stuff changed. The theme song changes about halfway through, and I freaking hate the second theme song, just saying. And like the colors are different. It's just, it changes, but it got funny the second half, but like the first half where most of the movie came from was not intended to be funny, I don't think. The movie, it was just, everything was so over the top. They made Misa in the movie, so Mia, into a cheerleader, where in the series she was like a really famous model named Misa or Misa Armani, and she was like a big part, but like she was dumb and not in charge, but where in the movie they tried to make her trying to take charge, if that makes sense. Also, there were so many other elements in the series that just made it so much better than the simplified version of the movie. Which I know sometimes you have to simplify things in order to make it into a movie, but I thought that they could have done a better job at the movie. The cinematography was way over the top, the lines were weird, everything was just really weird, and it made it really funny, and it wasn't intended to be so. I mean, maybe they meant it to be funny, but I really don't think they did at this point. That's how I feel about that. I might one day get around to reading the manga version, the series of Death Note, but not right now. I'm in school and I have a lot of things due in the month of November, so So that's all that I have for you today, I guess. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe so you can join my family. Hit the little bell to get notified whenever I post a video so you won't miss it. And that's it. So have a great morning, and if I don't see you later, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. You should watch Death Note. Do it.